What's up, everybody? It's Hardy Construction. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram with the host Komp.
Gaius.
And today's film is
The Devil's Candy, 2015.
The Devil's Candy, 2015. A struggling painter is possessed by satanic forces after he and his young family move into their dream home in rural Texas in this creepy haunted house tale. Directed and written by Sean Byrne, starring Ethan Embry, Shiri Appleby, and Pruitt Taylor Vince, as well as that...
Wow.
Who's that young girl playing? Is it Kiara... What's her name? You got her name yet?
The daughter, Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe. Who plays her?
Yeah.
Do you got a name?
Kiara Glasgow.
Kiara Glasgow. So this is a film that I had heard about for a long time. For some reason, I mistook that it was an association with the actor from We Are Still Here. You know that crazy hick actor, the one that the hippie guy with the crazy.
Oh yeah. Wait, what does he do with this?
Nothing. I just assumed he was part of it because I mistook the actor Ethan Embry.
I can't think of that guy's name, but he's in like every horror movie.
You always get his name wrong, which is so funny. But now I don't.
He always looks like a weird Jack Nicholson.
Right. And for some reason I thought he was associated because I saw some weird. He and Ethan Embry look nothing like each other because I think there's like 20-year difference between them.
Yeah, they look.
But there was some still that made me think it was him for some weird, strange reason. I didn't see any trailers for this film. I just heard that it was good, and it was a follow-up. I don't think it was directly after The Loved Ones, but this is the same director as The Loved Ones.
It's 6 years later, but yeah, I mean...
So this is director of The Loved Ones, a movie that I liked but I didn't love. A movie that I felt that...
You didn't loved ones?
It was a film with like an unnecessary B plot. Remember the boy on the date with the girl who was depressed?
Hey, what a coincidence. This one also has that.
A B plot? What was the B plot for this one?
The B plot was like this weird art gallery and that,
yes.
Yeah, like the weird art gallery.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Like, what's that?
This film falls into the weird subgenre that I have yet to. I was about to say I have yet to see a good sort of metal horror film, but then when I started looking at lists of horror films that had metal. So here's the thing with this film. I think.
Well, do you count like Devil's Rejects?
I'm gonna read you a list of stuff that I just read, but. This is a type of film where they try to, like, as opposed to metal just being music for the film, I think they try to directly, like, inject
the
metal.
Lifestyle of metal in there.
Right, and I don't think it does it. Like, that's just me. Like, I don't think it correctly does it.
I think they did a pretty good job, actually. Like, the dad and the daughter, like, both being in metal was, like, fucking awesome.
No, I like that. No, that stuff I like, but
awesome.
I don't feel that it's a successful death metal film because there's nothing that's death metal about the villain. It's not something where, like, death metal is a part of the lifestyle of the film. I don't know where I'm coming from. Okay, so
No, I see what you're saying. Like, that fucking, what the hell is that, cartoon... That's like Metalocalypse.
Yeah, like that's a death metal like show. You know what I mean? Because everything has to deal with it. And if you've ever seen, I don't know if you haven't seen the show. I never saw the full show, but like every episode, and like that's one of the and it's really good. Still, some parts that I saw, but they made a film I think which was like the final episode was like this 2 hour or an hour and a half film that was or an hour long film. I'm sorry, excellent. It was like a musical, death metal musical, fucking fantastic, and it was horror and everything. Anyway, that was death metal. Okay, that's like I don't care if you don't like death metal in your films, but there was another movie that I saw a year or so ago called Deathgasm, and it was sort of like.
Wait, I've heard of that.
Right, and it dealt with you know, I think Swedish like Nordic death metal, like the the real death metal shit that they like over there. Because the guys had corpse paint on. You know what corpse paint is, right? Like
yeah.
Cradle of Filth kind of looking guys. Fighting like demonic forces and shit, and it was like from the trailer, It looked like it was gonna be like Evil Dead, but that was like another letdown, just because it was like bad writing. So I was like, damn, did I see any movies that had like metal as a?
Wait, Evil Dead was a bad letdown?
Deathgasm.
Oh, Deathgasm. Oh, okay.
All right,
I thought you said Evil Dead.
No. Well, the remake was. So here's a list of death metal movies or metal movies that deal with like horror and shit like that. I don't know if we've seen any. Some of these we actually saw. Rock and Roll Nightmare, which apparently we should see because it's just like an actual death, like a metal singer fighting the devil or some shit like that. It's made in the 80s, but it looks like ridiculous. Black Roses, never heard of. Terror on Tour, never heard of that. Rocktober Blood, I don't know what that is. It says Trick or Treat, but that might be an 80s film.
These sound like super B-level movies.
Oh, yeah, they look like Z-level. Maximum Overdrive.
Okay.
Which is because...
That could be like a hair metal.
No, because the soundtrack was AC/DC, which is not hair metal. That's like just rock metal, sort of.
I guess.
And that had the fantastic line, "This machine just called me an asshole!" All right. The Phantom of the Park, Hard Rock Zombies, Phantom of the Paradise, The Dungeon Master. You should see the poster of Heavy Metal Massacre, Oi, Veyes Gamir. Death Metal Zombies. I'm almost done. Monster Dog, Darkness, which has a great poster. The Gate had a good metal thing to it.
Yeah, the Gate's really cool.
The Gate had a legit metal like mix with it because there's a death metal band within the film that die because they use their lyrics to write their albums.
They're the ones that like basically their music helps him. Well, actually, doesn't help him.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I don't know what was so metal about that movie, but it's on this list.
Trying to remember. Well, I mean,
the punk girl with the Friday the 13th Part 6. I don't know anything that's metal about the movie. Strangeland. I like that movie. That movie's terrible though. But yeah,
I wouldn't call that metal though.
They also do list House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. One I will agree with is The Lords of Salem because that was more of a music video than a fucking movie, but I liked it anyway.
Yeah.
And Queen of the Damned, Prince of Darkness. I don't know what was metal about that. And then they have this. They have something called Turbulence 3, which, Danny,
what?
It's shocking what that movie is like.
Oh,
because,
how bad it is?
No. I mean, I haven't sat and watched the movie, but the first two movies is about, like, they're called, the Turbulence franchise is like somebody who tries to hijack a plane and then somebody tries to save the plane. They did 3 movies like this. The third movie, the hero...
Is it the same guy?
I don't know. No, I don't think of this one, because the third one... The hero of the film is like a Marilyn Manson ripoff. So he's like a guy who looks like a goth, and he has to save this plane from crashing. And it's like the most... It's really embarrassing when I was watching on TV.
Awkward and uncomfortable
to
watch.
It really is. Anyway, so there's all these types of films like Phenomena, Horror Hospital. I can't really say that I've seen really good death metal films, but like The Gate is a good one. But I haven't seen one
like I've seen listed on like bad movie lists.
I can't
what
believe
are you guys
it.
talking about?
I don't believe
it. I've seen people listed as a bad movie.
They actually tried to remake it a couple times. Actually, once with Bill from Bill and Ted. He was going to direct it, but it just never went anywhere. And I saw some of the concept art, and I was like, no. Anyway, so this film, going back to that big non sequitur, this film is about a father and his wife and daughter who are
hot wife
moving. Yeah, Shiri Appleby. I've seen her. I'm trying to remember what I've seen her in. I've seen her in a couple stuff.
She's so hot.
Shiri Appleby, yes. She's a sweetie. She's a sweetie pie. But I'm trying to remember where... was she in Roswell? I think she used to be in the show called Roswell. Yes, she was. She was in the show called Roswell on the WB, which is now the CW. Very cute girl next door. She was sort of like the second Katie Holmes. You know, like that super adorable brunette girl next door look to her. And she sort of just kind of vanished. So I don't know.
She is, I'm in love.
She's very pretty. Anyway, so this film is about a guy, his wife, and his daughter, and they're moving into this new house. He's a struggling painter. So, Daddy, you know what that's about, right?
Struggling painter.
Excuse me, I'm painting here. And
I'm painting here.
And he is trying to do right by his wife, his daughter. He's a freelance artist, which means he's not making any money. As we find that he's not paying all the bills.
He's also from Once Upon a Time, and so is the gallery owner.
Oh, are they? Ethan Embry I recognize, and I've seen him and stuff, but I don't know from what. And Shiri Appleby's on a show called Unreal, which is like a take on The Bachelor, but apparently it's like written really well. But I have no interest in watching a show like that.
Right.
But who knows? I saw Killing Eve, and I think that's a fucking genius show. Anyway, so give me the basic setup of this film.
The basic setup is we start with a crazy person playing a guitar.
Pruitt Taylor Vince, which we saw in another movie, but I forget which movie.
He's in Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
He is trying to keep away the devil or something. And then, he
kills his parents in the opening of the film. Kills his parents.
And now cuts to this family, and they're moving to a new home. Yeah, and it's in the same neighborhood and everything, just kind of far away. But she still goes to. The mom still has the same job, so it can't be that far. Am I right, everybody?
Was that a joke? I wasn't sure. So Pruitt Taylor Vince was actually
it wasn't so much a joke, just as a little monologue.
Pruitt Taylor Vince, the psychopath in this film, he was in Stranger Things season 2. Remember, he was one of the guards that was, torturing 11.
Oh yeah, and they go to his house, and then she spares him.
Because I remember seeing him in a flashback.
The hot, his sister.
I remember seeing him in a flashback in one of the episodes, and I was like, they're gonna use more of him, right? Because he's like an actually established actor. I was like, I hope he's not for that. And then they did use him, and then 11 almost kills him, and then she realizes he has daughters, so she doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
I didn't like that season 2. So
really,
I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was as good as the first season. But that's
I hope they get more into that sister. She is just so hot.
Who? Oh, that girl.
The sister.
She's of age, is she?
Yeah, she's of age.
Okay.
She's in her 20s, dude.
All right, if you say so.
She is.
Even though her character's 12 in the show, Danny was like, "Oh my god."
She's not.
Okay. Hashtag Dan too. All right, so. Jesus. There's a thing with this film. Obviously, he doesn't want to do he's bored with doing commercial works. He's frustrated. Ethan Embry's character, so he has to paint like this mural of butterflies for a bank that wanted to pay him for it.
Butterfly.
Have you ever had to paint something that you didn't want to paint, or are you usually lucky
24.
enough to?
Have I had to? No, because I've never been commissioned ever.
Yes, you have.
That's not true. But I've painted things. I've compromised on things. I haven't painted something I outright hate. Actually, that's not true. I did once.
What was that?
I had to paint somebody's granddaughter and make it photorealistic, and it was so unpleasant from start to finish. I hated every moment of it.
Why was it?
It was somebody's granddaughter.
Okay, that makes sense. So he has to do this
2 years ago.
He has to do this painting. There's an A and B plot with this film, or it's going back and forth with Pruitt Taylor Vince. This is why I didn't see the trailer for this film. And I had no idea what I was going into watching this film. I literally thought when it said Devil's Candy, I thought it was like a horror slasher film with demons or monsters and shit. And
I expected it to be pretty dumb.
Essentially, the Devil's Candy has to deal with Pruitt Taylor Vince's character having to kill children because he feeds them to the devil. He's like mentally ill, and it's not outright explained as to whether this is real or not. I assume it is because.
I don't think there is a real devil thing in here.
The fact that Ethan Embry, the main guy, is hearing the same.
I think those are the ghosts of the kids that this guy killed.
It was so funny watching that scene because throughout the film you hear like this whispering, like meow, like this weird sort of Gregorian chant.
That's how I chant in my sleep all the time.
I kept thinking of Mel Gibson's production company. If you ever seen his thing, it's called Icon Entertainment. I believe that's it. And if you look, every time the movie opens, it goes, and it's like, it sounds like the same thing as this.
If you play it in reverse, it starts reading
it's his
Mein
phone
Kampf.
calls talking about N-words and Jews starting the wars. But that's according to Mel Gibson, not me. And you hear, and it's like a bust of a soldier or something, and then it cracks, and you hear like like that same chanting. So that's all I could think about every time they played it. But Pruitt Taylor hears that, and it's commanding him.
Fascinating story.
As good as the story you told before, that joke that fell flat. So he is hearing these weird, like, murmurings, and it's kind of telling him to kill children so he can feed them to the devil, or whoever the fuck he's trying to feed them to.
Why would you want to feed children to the devil?
Because they're the devil's candy. And he tries to drown it out by playing death metal, or metal on his Flying V guitar, which I haven't seen in a long time, which is, I guess, the link to metal in this film. There are two metal songs that I do recognize in the movie, which I was very like, ooh, when I heard them. I heard...
what, Metallica?
Yes. First I heard Pantera, which was by Demons Be Driven. You know, that song was so great.
Okay.
And it has one of the stupidest lyrics I've ever heard in my life. And I tried to make Danny listen to it and laugh, but he had no idea what I was talking about. Because the guy uses the phrase... The singer uses the phrase "from the sixth dimension," and I don't know why I find that the funniest. Like, cause it just sounds ridiculous. Like, I don't know why it's funny, but it's like a really good song by Demons Be Driven. But that line is so ridiculous and stupid. I'm like, what the hell? Because it's like a guy with a deep voice going, from the sixth dimension, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? That's why people laugh at me.
If you have two people standing side by side in the third dimension. Becomes the sixth dimension.
Ooh. That means they're grabbing each other's dicks in the sixth dimension. So
Yeah.
then there's also the ending credits. That's the most metal part of this film is For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. So I've seen 2 horror movies that use this song effectively much better than the actual film they're attached to, which is the opening of Zombieland, which is one of the greatest opening credits ever. Which uses,
I love that whole sequence.
The whole opening for that film is phenomenal. Even if you don't want to see the movie, which is a good movie, it's a fun movie.
I don't know why anybody would not want to see it. I mean, it's funny.
They're making a sequel to it, so that's
they've been talking about that forever.
But I think they're actually filming it. Like they're literally filming because they tried to do for Amazon TV. They tried to make a Zombieland TV series because they weren't.
I heard a rumor about that. Yeah,
no, it actually came out. It was one of Amazon does this thing where pilot season they'll put out a first episode of a show, and if you like it or not, if enough people watch it and they vote on it, they'll continue with it. But
I really don't want to support Amazon.
Okay, so the show was I like Bosch. That's a great fucking show. Was it Hulu? You know, it's Amazon. I like Amazon for Bosch. That's a great fucking show. So I give a thumb. And also they brought back The Expanse. So those are 2 shows that I love. So fuck you.
Amazing.
Anyway,
everybody, Alex.
Hey, I get to watch those 2 shows. Up yours. So anyway, they did a Zombieland show, 1 episode, and it was so fucking stupid because it was the same characters, but obviously they didn't have Woody Harrelson and whoever that other guy is in it. So they were like, well, this sucks. Anyway, Zombieland was originally a TV show. So those are the 2 things I saw with that song, and it's more metal because the ending credits for this film are metal than the whole film. Because I think when they're forcing
him jumping through fire with a guitar and killing someone is pretty metal.
Yeah, the CG fire. Boy, that CG fire. But here's the thing. This movie isn't bad, okay? It's a letdown for me because I have yet to see a metal horror film. In that everything is metal. Deathgasm is the closest one, but that movie wasn't that good. And The Gate, maybe. But The Gate
is definitely metal.
Yeah, that is definitely metal because it's like Terry, the kid with the glasses, the nerd, is like the next door metal nerd. But not just that, but
like the fucking monster at the end. Yeah. And like everything about like the way that the little monsters look is like so cool.
If there's any high recommendation, go see The Gate. And I can't believe why people would think it's a bad movie because that movie is fucking metal as fuck. It's great.
One of my favorite memories is being like super drunk at a party, and I had to like cool down, you know. And I just went and I watched that whole movie.
Did you? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I just went into the person's basement, and I'm like in the complete darkness, hiding out, watching that movie, like trying to like not be as drunk as I am, you know.
What a psychopath!
And it was like such a nice time. Like I don't know, I have a great memory.
I remember I was at this girl's house and I put on The Gate, and we had fun, and we were watching it, and we cheered when everybody.
Did she show you her gate?
I wish, but it's been opened by too many other people. Oh boy, not me. But it was fun. Anyway, so oh boy, I'm depressed right now. I'm gonna jump out the window. So this film, obviously, so the main plot is guy with his family. He's slowly becoming obsessed with this sound and creating from it. Like he can't control himself. He loses hours in the day painting. He's doing these weird sort of dark paintings, although it looks like he just did like a white cross on a background, and I was like, it took you 5 hours to paint that shit? I was like,
right.
You can do that in 5 seconds. Like, how long would that take you to do that painting of the cross?
Of the cross? I don't know, like probably 2 hours.
Yeah, see? And he was like all day, all night. He lost track of time. I did like the painting that he did with...
Yo, that was sick. And the artist that does that, I'm trying to look his name up because
he's actually in the end credits of the film. It said paintings.
I have some of his art as like my screensaver.
Oh, do you?
I never knew.
No,
his
it's
name.
Really cool. No, it actually reminded me of your art. You know, some of the older stuff that you did.
I wish.
No, you know, like Danny does this. I still say like one of the greatest paintings I ever saw that Danny did was like these dogs, like a mutant.
You're making me blush.
8-headed dog like attacking some guy, and I was like, this is fantastic, and that's what it reminded me of your work.
Stephen Kasner, everybody. The artist's name is Stephen Kasner, P-H, Stephen, and K-A-S-N-E-R.
Yeah, he's doing really great work in this film. And so he's, doing these kind of disturbing artworks, and it's like his relationship with his daughter. He does this one large painting after... It's sort of like he's connected to the serial killer, and he's painting these children, in a horrific hell. And, the brutal... I don't know, I guess that guy only killed one kid. He didn't kill the kid's brother? I wasn't sure. Like smashing the kid in the head with a rock?
No, he killed him,
okay.
I think.
So this movie has really good cinematography. It's a great soundtrack, but for me, it seems like it's missing an act in the film.
It's missing a script rewrite.
Yeah,
it's still a good movie.
What do you think it's missing?
Well, it has like kind of pointless shit, and also it's like very vague. Like we don't. I guess you could leave it open to interpretation, but like the ending, like it really.
That was his painting he pulled out of the floor, right?
I wasn't sure what the hell.
I think it was a painting because they showed him cutting it up, but they didn't show him necessarily throw it away.
Right. But it was buried under the dirt. I think that was bodies. I think those were the kids' bodies.
Oh,
that's what it says on Wikipedia, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
So that's what it says on Wikipedia. But I mean, it's so fucking vague. It does. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was really vague. I didn't understand it. Like, and then, so it's like I don't think that Satan. I think that serial killer guy is just a crazy guy.
Okay.
Who killed people because he's crazy, not because of Satan. And then I think that. That guy, Jesse, Ethan Embry, had a legit supernatural thing, but I don't think it was Satan. I think it was like the ghosts of the kids or maybe God or something, like helping him to stop the serial killer.
I liked Jesse's relationship with his daughter, Zoe, and his wife, Astrid. I think it felt
Zoe.
It felt like a real... Well, it has two O's. Zoe to me is
Zoe.
one fucking
It's Zoe. He called it Zoe.
I know, but it's two O's. It bothers me. But,
Sorry.
I like their relationship. This is the first time I've seen in a movie where a metalhead girl is not a absolute whore and a slut like they always make metal people to look like in movies, which is probably closer.
Or like a complete angsty asshole.
Yeah, like she's actually a nice kid that listens to metal, so that's really adorable. And plus she was too young anyway to be if it was a Hollywood film, like straight up they would make her totally
they'd make her a horrible
asshole,
person.
Yeah. But it was nice to see a metal female character that doesn't fall into those fucking tropes, and she was actually a nice kid that just happens to listen to metal and lives a lifestyle.
People are the nicest people I've ever fucking met. They're all just happy stoner people.
Yeah, they're cool. Like the only ones that are assholes are which I haven't met are the arrogant ones on YouTube that talk about this is the right music.
I don't ever watch people like that.
Those guys you don't want to deal with those people. You're like, this is the only
music snobs.
Yeah, because I listen to all types of music, so I wouldn't want somebody to tell me what the fuck is the right way or something's not more metal than the other. Who gives a flying fuck?
You're still listening to Norwegian death metal. You should be listening to Swedish death metal.
You're not listening to a math metal. Are you out of your mind?
We're done with math metals now. We've moved on to algebra metals.
We're listening to ESL metal, please. That's just something that I thought was missing from the main plot of the film, is that I needed more background. Well, I guess I didn't need more background on the main bad guy, but I would have liked to seen more of Jesse's dealing with the art company. I thought you felt that fell short, though,
It just seemed like they wrote it and then were like, we don't want this anymore, and forgot to delete that scene.
Can you imagine that's what it was?
That's what it felt like. It was just pointless. They could have spent more on, I don't know, anything, honestly.
It really
better use.
It really reminded me of this fantastic Tales from the Crypt episode, and I'm going to look it up. But anyway, I'm going to look up the name of that episode. But anyway, while that's going on, there was a nice cameo by Leland Orser, I believe, the actor.
Is that the guy who's the art gallery
guy?
No,
preacher. The preacher that's on TV?
Oh, I'm trying to remember his part in this.
He's giving a sermon. Pruitt Taylor's character is watching the TV, and he's talking about how the devil is such.
Okay.
And if you look at that actor, you obviously, I don't know if you remember, he's in everything. And he was famously in the movie Seven. He was the guy that John Doe made him put on that
the
belt
dick
with the
thing?
knife, and he goes, oh God, he made me fuck her. Oh, that guy who was going crazy, which is one of the fucking funniest lines.
I'm looking at him right now, but I don't really recognize him.
Trust me, you've seen him. He was definitely in Seven, though, because he's one of those.
It's been a while.
He's one of those actors that it's been in everything, but you just have I seen him before? And
right.
Anyway, so looking up the Killer Painter episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, he's in Alien Resurrection.
Yes, he was one of those little... God, Aliens Resurrection. Yikes.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay, what a great fucking name for an episode. Easel Kill Ya. You know the word easel, and it's called Easel Kill Ya. And I believe so that episode is about this guy who's a painter who like makes nobody gives a shit about his paintings, right? Mm-hmm. And one day there's a guy playing metal on that's metal too. It's a really great fucking episode, and there's a guy playing metal on one of the fire escapes. Right. And he's like, "Hey, could you turn that down? I'm trying to paint." And the guy's like, fuck you," and he's still listening to metal. So then the painter goes out again. He accidentally brushes like with his arm a flower pot, which falls on the guy's head and kills him. Then he paints that. Good. And an art guy, much like the art guy in this film, sees it and he starts buying the painting from him. So he starts murdering people and painting their bodies, and it has a great fucking twist ending. Like seriously. Go, Danny. I want you to like watch this episode. It's
I've been wanting to rewatch that whole show forever. Like it's such a good show.
No, there's some good episodes, but this one, seriously, because you're a painter as well, I think you'll appreciate it. There's just something really like. There are certain like Tales from the Crypt where you can watch it, and go, this is funny, this is spooky or whatever. But that episode is like legitimately.
To this day, one of my favorite ones is the one where they put the guy in they put the bad couple in the log and then have that deaf guy.
They saw that guy. I thought that was a little bit an overkill for that couple. Like I think those guys that was a little bit too much.
No, I was just really enjoying. It's just so fun.
But the Easel Kill You episode, when the guy who buys the art pieces, when he's showing them like artwork that he's bought, which is like photographs of the concentration camps. It's just there's just a really unsettling feeling about that whole episode that I thought was the creepiest fucking Tales from the Crypt, like really dark episode, and I think everybody should watch. So that's why I was bringing it up, because it reminded me of this, this
Tim
subplot
Roth.
in here.
Tim Roth is in it,
and yes, right. I think he's the main guy in the episode.
Yeah,
but that's sort of what I was feeling when I did read what the plot summary for this film was. I thought it was going to be sort of like Easel Kill You, where it's a painter doing dark shit, but that's not really a main focus. I mean, it's sort of he's peppering the film.
Him being a painter is almost not that important, although it is, but it's not like critical.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't solve anything in the film other than there's some sort of supernatural element.
That's why I'm saying if they got rid of the whole art dealer shit and focused more on his psychic vision, that would be cool.
If they had just legitimately just ripped off the idea from Easel Kill You where his paintings sold, it did in a way, but he didn't get famous from it.
Or what about that fucking Heroes show where that guy in the only good season, the first season,
the guy who did comic books and stuff? Right.
Yeah, and he paints the comet coming and shit, and it's like, oh, this is cool. Like,
man, have you ever seen a show go right to hell? Like since that show?
That was I stopped watching.
I stopped watching it when I heard the show went bad, so I didn't even finish the first season. But I could see like how amazing.
First season was great, man.
Okay, and also it had this. I saw one thing that shit scared the shit out of me for a TV show. There was like whoever the main girl, one of the main girls, the girl who had like could turn into the Hulk. Like there's a part like she had two personalities, I believe, the blonde girl, and she was walking.
I don't remember.
She was walking. She was dating the black guy, and they had a kid together. You're
way ahead of me. I don't remember.
So this is in the first season, and she walks past by a mirror, and what they did is to represent. She had two personalities.
Oh yeah, Ali Larder.
As she walked by the mirror, she had a second version of her head growing out of her back. And I tell you this, when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was legitimately like, whoa, like, that's not nice. I was like, this is scary shit. And it wasn't a horror movie, but I was like, holy shit. Anyway, what did we talk about with this movie?
She ended up having like 7 fucking twins or alternate personalities or something in that.
And then every character died, and then they brought back the show, and everybody else got killed.
Yeah, and then like Hero would just reverse time or something. Like, it was stupid.
It was junk. Anyway. Ghost did our top recommendation from this episode. Go watch The Gate and then go watch Easel Kill You from Tales from the Crypt.
We're talking about everything but the movie.
This movie was fine. The acting is all great. The violence is okay. The special effects are good. The composition of shots is really good. I mean, this is the guy who did The Loved Ones. If you watch The Loved Ones, that's a really polished sort of looking film. But
it was a better movie.
It too did not live up to what I thought it would be. Not that
it's the script again. It was the script in that is the script in this.
The movies don't have and the thing is, I heard only positive things about this film. I haven't heard one bad thing about this movie. But it seems like this movie...
It's not a bad movie. It's just not...
It's an okay movie.
Quite there.
And
it's only the script that's the problem. It's nothing to do with the directing or anything like that.
Right. I think he should sit back and let other people write his scripts or flesh out his ideas. Because there needs to be a little bit more. There needs to be something more meatier to the films. Like, I understand he had a relationship with his daughter, the main character, but I didn't really give a shit, honestly.
I did. I thought the actors were great, and I really liked them and everything.
No, I thought the characters were great. I just thought that there was no real...
They could have done fucking more with it, basically. They could have done more.
I did think they were in genuine danger towards the end of the film, but, and I was happy that they made it out, but I didn't feel like there was much weight to this film at all. It was just like... It felt like the whole movie was written down on a notebook, and they said, "Oh, this will be a cool movie." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't horrible, but it was okay. So as soon as I was watching 10 minutes into it, I had a number in my head, and I stuck to it. So it's a 6 out of 10 for me, which is like a passable. Oh. What? Soundtrack's fantastic, though. A 6 out of 10 being a young girl waking up in bed with a big fat bald guy and going, "Uh-oh."
Okay.
I could have gone further with that joke, but then I realized I shouldn't. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna.
He did look like Harvey Weinstein too, so. But go ahead.
Yeah, he does. Oh,
I feel bad. Pruitt Taylor Vince is a great actor, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's not like Harvey Weinstein. I hope not. Anyway.
Me too. I didn't even mean that. You heard me? I said me too. But go ahead.
Shit. Hashtag. I'm gonna. It'd be funny to get hash browns and make them spell out a hashtag me too.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, I'm gonna give this a 7.
Ooh.
I'm one-upping you. 7 out of 10. Using a very conveniently filled in the story guitar. That is just so happens to be exactly the guitar the daughter
was. That an actual tattoo on her, or that was like a color form sticker?
No, that was a decal. No, I'm using a very convenient guitar that a serial killer just happens to have the exact guitar that this girl wants, and taking it and using it to kill the person who gave it to you.
Well, he had premonitions of her burning in fire, so I mean, it all worked out, I guess, in a way.
It's true.
So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Leonard!
The horror deconstruction.